First of all, is my speaker on? Can you hear me?
Trying to get it on.
Yes, you can hear me. The value of you and your brain. Do you use protection for your brain?
Prophylactics.
What is your brain worth to you? How much would you insure it for? How much would you spend on it to maintain it? And what is the value of you? You are a magnificent being. You're one of a kind. There is no one like you. Right now, you are more intelligent and more powerful than you think you are. Also, there's 100,000 miracles happening in your body right at this moment to maintain your balance or homeostasis. The probability of your birth is 1 in 4 trillion. 1 in 4 trillion. For the perfect woman, the perfect man to come together, the perfect seed, to have you sitting here right at this moment with me. 1 in 4 trillion. You are priceless. So how did this come about? From a true love story. And where's my clicker here? A knight in shining armor, a US GI, meets the enemy, a German Fräulein. Excuse me. Patton's Third Army moves into Salzburg, Austria. And this certain GI goes in the neighborhood and he knocks on the door of a home, and there's this certain German Fräulein home alone. She peers through the drapes. She sees the enemy standing there. She loses her breath. She's scared to death. She runs through the house, down the stairs, and hides under there, praying and hoping that he will go away, but he doesn't. She hears his footsteps walking through every room of the house, opening and closing doors and cupboards and drawers. What does this crazy Ami want? When she doesn't hear anything, she peers out from under the stairs. She looks up the stairs, and at that very moment, he opens the door. She's totally frightened. There's the enemy in her house, in her kitchen, at the top of the stairs. Her brain froze. And this GI kept motioning back and forth. She couldn't think. Finally, when it dawned on her what he wanted an iron. She races up the stairs, goes to the kitchen cabinet, pulls out the iron, puts it in his hand, and shoves him out the front door and collapses in fear, and tells her mother about it later. The next few days go by, knock on the door. She tells her mother, I'm hiding, you go answer the door. So the mother answers the door, and there's this GI standing there, the enemy, with a big grin on his face, with the iron in his hand. He offers it to her. What enemy ever returns anything during wartime? Who does that? She nervously invites the enemy into her kitchen and sets him down. She's very embarrassed. She has nothing to offer him but a stale, moldy, crusty piece of bread. Because at that time, Austria, all of it, was starving. A few days later, the mother goes to answer the door. There's this same GI with the biggest grin on his face and a bag in his hand. She invites the enemy in to sit down in the kitchen. He begins unpacking the bag. Bread, butter, milk, cheese, eggs, and an assortment of other things. Not only was he saving this family of 7 during that time, the knight in shining armor, feeding them, he married this Fräulein twice. Once before the war was over, in secrecy, because they were still enemies, and once after the war was over, with military permission. The love story ends in dementia. That's my family. Last year I'm thinking, what am I going to do about myself? I began to study. Like Einstein says, learning, if you stop learning, you're dying. So I've reinvented myself and began studying various specialists. Deepak Chopra, cardiologist, he says the mind will believe anything that you tell it. It cannot distinguish between what's reality and what's not. And he also said, you are not your chronological age. You're a composite of 3 ages. Your chronological age, your biological age, and your psychological age. And when I added those 3 numbers together, I came up with 44. Well, at that time I was 54. I love that, okay. So I stayed 44 for a very long time. And then I began to study neuroscientist, Dr. Dispenza, and he talks about rewiring the brain that we can for our behaviors and our habits. And he also talks about how gratitude is so important for us. At any rate, my brain health blueprint, beautiful brain health blueprint, is based on a Chinese proverb. You are like a 3-legged stool, mind, body, and spirit, in harmony. If one of those legs is broken, the stool will fall. Thank you.